With Christmas upon us, many business owners are planning to shut down for a few weeks to give their team and themselves a well-deserved break. Now, it sounds like a great idea, and in theory it is, but here's the catch. Most haven't stopped to consider the full impact of an extended business shutdown. Now, tune into this episode where we understand how significant the impact of a business shutdown is on your business and how much stress the shutdown can create, and why there is a deeper business problem that needs solving if you have to shut your business down to give yourself and your team a break. You think it's a good thing for your team, it is for some, but it's not for others.
The only time you can really unplug is when the business isn't operating, right?
Which is a problem, because if you can't get a proper break without your business shutting down, then you've got a deeper problem than just needing a holiday.
And you lose that opportunity to pick up the work while everybody else is shut down too, right?
So it takes ages to get back on track, and it can literally strangle your business, and we see it a lot.
Yeah, there's actually quite a lot of opportunity there because there's less competition. Other people are shut down. You could be picking up their work, but instead you're giving your work away to the people that didn't shut down. So it's kind of like a two-edged loss there.
You can actually create way more stress in your life and your business than you solve by taking the break.
Let's get into the solutions. How do we actually go about making this better?
Is to create a business that can give you time, money and freedom, and it can work without you. Well, there's really three things you can do. Alrighty, welcome to the podcast. Tony Fraser-Jones here, your host, and I have just built my cumin tea on myself, Phil.
There's also mustard in your beard. I'm not sure if you've realised that.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. You're looking good, man.
It's yeah. I'm on the cumin tea today, mate.
Yeah.
So I should be good.
Yep, farts incoming.
That's right.
All right,
yeah, they're
sweet.
clean burning. What are we talking about anyway, Chief?
We are talking about holiday and vacation shutdowns. So things like Christmas, for us down under, and the summer break for our listeners in US and Canada. And how basically it seems like a really good idea to give everybody a rest, and perhaps more importantly to give you as the business owner a rest, because the only time you can really unplug is when the business isn't operating, right?
Yeah, which is a problem. Because if you can't get a proper break without your business shutting down, then you've got a deeper problem than just needing a holiday. And that's a problem we should look at solving as well. And it's kind of why we exist here at PT.
That's what we do.
Is to create a business that can give you time, money and freedom, and it can work without you. And so we will dig into that as well. But most people, think about a shutdown and they don't really realize what the consequences are. And there are some pretty major consequences. It just seems like we're going to be shut down for a couple of weeks and we'll lose a bit of revenue. But we've seen so many businesses get into massive holes here. And in fact, it's almost sunk a lot of businesses, to be honest. And also it has consequences for your team as well, not just financial. You think it's a good thing for your team. It is for some, but it's not for others, and there's consequences for your clients as well, and potentially that they're left short as well when they might need you. So we're going to drill into all of those and talk about probably three ways you can approach business shutdowns, and do it in a way also that works for you and your team and your clients and your finances and your life as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I'm sure you got a story to.
I do have a story. Well, I don't mind a bit of a veggie garden.
Yeah,
we've got a veggie garden at home, and had a veggie garden for a number of years, and I work hard on it through spring up into summer, and it looks really good. And down under here we have our break over Christmas. That's our summer break. Obviously it's the opposite if you're in the US, but the point's the same, and it's all looking good, all green and growing well. And then we'll go and have a vacation over Christmas for a couple of weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, and I water it hard out before we go. But inevitably, and I hope for some rain, and I've even asked my dad to come and water it a few times, but,
Good luck with that.
Yeah, he's getting a bit old. He's a good man, Bruce, but,
Old Brucey.
he wants a holiday as well. So what happens is when I come back, the garden is dead or nearly dead, and it's just a mess. And all that hard work goes down the drain. And every year I think it'll be better, but it's kind of not. Long story short, we've invested in a watering system now, which is kind of obvious.
Yeah, you'd think it would have been obvious.
Yeah, it wasn't obvious.
Took a few dead gardens to get that one going.
A few decades of stupidity, but anyway. Yeah. But the principle sort of applies to your business. If you shut it down, there's no money or anything coming in, no water, as it were. It can die. And if it doesn't die, often it's very nearly dead. And the consequences will roll on for many months. And you certainly won't harvest as much stuff from your business as you would have otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you have a long shutdown over the holidays, you can run into some really big issues.
Yeah, well, there's massive problems. Obviously, you have no revenue, which can cause massive cash flow headaches and all the associated stress that comes from it. And if you just think about it, if you do a couple $100,000 a month in revenue in your business, and even if you're shut for 2 weeks, then you're down $100,000 of revenue straight away. And that really has a massive impact. Now, I know you're not going to have the material costs, but you still have your fixed costs coming out. You've still got to pay, just like a factory, you've got to pay the rent, that sort of stuff. So, but if you think about a factory, that manufactures stuff, they're not going to shut down for 2 weeks. They just keep cranking because they realize that all that other stuff's got to be paid. You can't just go backwards. So I think that's important. You still got to pay wages. Most of us will have annual leave or vacation pay that we pay out. So we're paying out and no money's coming in.
Yep.
You can obviously force your employees to take leave, and some will want to do that, but that means their leaves, that's been used up, and maybe they don't have much left for the rest of the year. So that can be a problem because they get sick and tired. Maybe later on in the year they have to take leave that's unpaid or something.
Well, I think the tired thing's a big one there, man, because actually, if you think about it, if you're forced to take a couple of weeks of leave, let's say you get 4 weeks of leave in a year, just a, number. Let's say you take 2 weeks of it over Christmas, it only leaves you with 2 weeks, and when you take a spot day here and there because, you've got something on, or a kid's production, or a sports, tournament or something you got to go to, and really wastes about a week, and that leaves you with 1 week, and you get to the middle of the year and you're absolutely exhausted. It's the middle of winter and you just want to have a bit of a break, but you can't, right?
That's right. So I think that's definitely a problem. It's, it might work for you, but it doesn't work for anyone. And some people don't want to take their leave then. Like some of your team, they may have young family, but they're not at school. And it's way better for them to take vacations and holidays when everyone else is back at work. It's cheaper and it's easier. And maybe they don't even care. Maybe they need the money. Like there's a lot of young guys who are just they just want to pump it out. Like they're on a mission. And maybe they have a holiday plan in the year. Maybe they have a wedding somewhere in the year where they need to travel, out of state or out of country, and they can't do that because all their leave's gone.
Yeah. Or they've got to do it with unpaid leave, which is, which puts a strain on them, especially for some of those young guys. They don't. It's not like they have massive reserves of cash to pay for these holidays and these trips and these weddings and things, later in the year while they're also not being paid. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, well, they've got to have enough for the pub and stuff as well.
Well, that's right. It's very important.
It is.
Yeah, that's right.
First things first.
First things first.
Yeah.
Priorities.
I mean, I know you were young once, but you were sensible, obviously.
Oh, I don't drink.
That's why you're in the position you are now.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a success story.
It is.
Anyway, we have some other problems too, right? Like
we do.
Tax payments.
Well, tax payments, tax payments don't stop coming out. Often they come out just after you've been shut. And so you've got no money coming in and all these tax payments going out. And depending on where you are, for some people they have VAT taxes to pay or GST to pay or provisional income taxes to pay right at a time when you haven't been earning any money, and that makes things really nasty. And I guess it's compounded by the fact that not only you might be closed, but a lot of your contractors are closed and your other clients are closed and they don't have any money to pay. So once you start up again, basically the whole economy needs to start up again. And so there's a whole kind of cash flow grinds to a halt, and nobody can pay anything. And if we're talking, summer vacations down under, nothing gets really cranking until late February, often into early March and even into April before people's cash flow actually starts coming back on stream. So
yeah, well, you get working again before that, but the cash flow doesn't catch up until
that's right.
Later in the year.
That's because it's the 20th of the month following when you've done the work, and then the people who are paying that were also in the same position, and so they slip you 10 days or another month, and so it takes ages to get back on track, and it can literally strangle your business, and we see it a lot. And often you can let some clients down as well. Maybe they needed work done. They were actually ready to go, and you were just having to button off because you needed a break. So
yeah, and you lose that opportunity to pick up the work while everybody else is shut down too, right? Those clients that are getting let down, they did want stuff done over that time period. There's actually quite a lot of opportunity there because there's less competition. Other people are shut down. You could be picking up their work, but instead you're giving your work away to the people that didn't shut down. So it's kind of like a two-edged loss there, which is not ideal.
Yeah, I understand that you're trying to create some downtime and chill out, with a shutdown, whatever time of the year it is. And we're talking at Christmas here because it often happens, but it doesn't matter what time of the year you do it. The situation is kind of similar. But you can actually create way more stress in your life and your business than you solve by taking the break. And effectively, you're just kicking the stress can down the road, but multiplying it. And the real reason that you're in this position really is because you don't have the team that can keep things operating without you. That's really the underlying problem. And so if you had a better business, then you'd be able to take some time off without shutting down. You'd have a team that could run the business, and you could take some time off, and you can actually spread the load for the team out over the period of time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But on the other hand, if we do manage the shutdown for a holiday really well, we've actually got some pretty big upsides.
Yeah. I think, number one, you keep the cash coming in, you stay solvent, You're not spending 2 or 3 months trying to get things back to zero with your cash flow, like just getting back to surviving. And you can give your team breaks when they want them, and then it keeps your team fresh throughout the year. I think that's really important, and that helps with illness and energy levels and focus, productivity, and motivation for the whole team. So I think if you get this right, there are some definite upsides. And I think we just need to give this a lot more thought than we often do. We just think, we just need a break. We're desperate to do that. But let's think this through properly.
Well, I think that's the real point here, is a lot of the time it's that acceptance of it that actually gets us. Like we think, that's just the way it is. I mean, we see it all the time. People come in and they're saying, hey, January was terrible and February was only half good, but, that's what it's like. Or, for our North American clients, it's like, coming back after the holidays and, the vacation over summer, same thing. It's like, that month sucked, but, that's just the way it is. And it doesn't have to be that way, and I think that's the whole point of the pod today. So
yeah, and it is like custom and practice, isn't it? We're just like, that's what we've always done. We've always taken that time off, and we kind of just think that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
But
you don't. Yeah, exactly.
Nice job there, bro.
All right, yeah, great minds, eh? So anyway, let's get into the solutions. How do we actually go about making this better?
Well, there's really 3 things you can do. One is do nothing.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, and we've talked about that at some length already.
Gotta love nothing doers.
Nothing doers.
Yeah, don't be a nothing doer.
Nothing doers, nothing getters.
That's it.
Number 2 is, this is something you can definitely do. You provision for this during the year. So basically you assume that you're working for 11 months with 12 months cost and set that money aside. And so you're effectively discounting a month, and you're having to earn extra profit and extra cash in the 11 months. And so you've got to make sure you set up a cash flow forecast and do the. So it is a bit challenging, but that's important if you're going to do it that way. So you've really got to cream it in those other times when you are open to cover the downside, and you have that money effectively sitting in the bank, and you just drain the bank account out to pay your obligations during that time, so you're okay. So that's definitely an option. But the third one is you don't shut down, or you limit the shutdown period as much as possible. You get really clever about when you're going to be open and when you're not.
Yeah.
And so limit it as much as possible. Obviously, I like number 3.
Yeah, I like number 3.
For all the reasons we've talked about above.
Yeah. If you're not picking up what we're putting down, number 3 is definitely the prime option.
Yeah, if you've got 3 doors, choose number 3.
We did put them number 1, 2, 3, but the ranking order is actually number 3, 2, 1. So
Correct.
Look at it that way, if you didn't notice that. So anyway, let's get into how to make it work.
Well, the first thing is I think you got to explain to your team the impact of the vacations and what you're doing this year. Like, just have a chat to them and say, look, we're not doing that this year. We're doing it differently. We're not going to shut down. And have a discussion with them, because your thought will probably be, they all want a break, and, I want a break, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah,
So
but half the time you only think that because you want that.
That's right.
You're telling yourself everyone's going to want a break, but the reality is you want a break. It's, so you believe that everybody else feels the same. But I think if you just ask them, right, like just, hey, is there anyone who actually wouldn't mind working over that time? And you probably find 2 or 3 people to put their hand up straight away. They're like, actually, I really need the money, or hey, I don't have a family, or I don't have kids, or whatever, and so it doesn't bother me, or I really want to take a holiday later in the year and I'd rather save my leave for that. You probably find half the team puts their hand up for it, and you'll actually be surprised. You thought everyone wanted a break, but they don't.
Yeah, well, there might be that guy's like, I have kids and I definitely want to go to work. That's another whole story. Give him some extra help, that guy there. He needs some help, that guy.
Same guy's hiding in the shed when he gets home.
That's right, that's right. But so you basically ask the team, who wants to take some time off and who doesn't. Have them apply for leave. And this is the thing, you don't have to give people leave. This is the other thing, is like, you've got a business to run. You know the consequences of being shut for a long period of time. I've worked many jobs where you've just worked all summer.
Yeah.
Many times, and that's just the way it was. And so you'd apply for leave and get a bit, and you'd have to work sometimes, and other. I've worked all over New Year,
Dude,
all
I
over
remember
Christmas.
multiple jobs where I worked Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, multiple jobs where Boxing Day was the biggest day of the year.
100%.
Like there was 0 leave given to anyone.
So
it's like that's our biggest day of the year.
Yeah, so we're all on deck. So then you just work through the logistics of what you can give people. And, wherever possible, you give them what they can, but sometimes you can't. And if you've framed it properly, they'll understand, and maybe it's their turn next year. And so you work it out like that. So
or even in a few weeks, it could be that, if you look at a Christmas break, for example, it's like there might be somebody who has to work, straight after Christmas, maybe the 27th, 28th, and so they couldn't go away for Christmas, but maybe you can go away mid-Jan and you're still over the same kind of period, and if you're here down under, you're still going away for summer. But you're not doing it in the rush and sitting in traffic for hours and hours when you didn't have to. It actually might be a better holiday. So
yeah. So the point is, as long as you frame it, help them understand what the issues are and how you're doing it. You may have to disappoint some people, but that's life, and that's being a business owner. You can't be all things to all people all of the time. And if you're trying to do that, it's probably one of your that's another whole thing we need to talk about. But
Also funny how you're worried about disappointing someone for providing gainful employment. It's like, why are you disappointed about having to do your job, man? I don't understand that, but hey, anyway, separate issue.
Like your office team, often they can work part-time from home. You can be a bit flexible over that period. That's fine. And talk with your clients about who's actually open for business and figure out what projects and jobs can be done. I mean, there's often stuff that can be done, and it's just about having a discussion. And it may not be that you're at 100% capacity, and that's fine. But if you're at 65, 70%, you're going to keep money coming in. You have money to pay the wages, to keep, on top of the commitments you have, and it makes an enormous difference.
Well, these conversations also, so sell the idea to them. So a lot of your clients, even if they are the type of person that might shut down over that break, the thing is they actually have the same problems as you. It does damage their cash flow. It does, make problems for their team's leave, and they actually experience all these same problems. So if you're able to just talk to them and say, hey, is there any work you're going to need done over that time? Because, hey, we're not going to shut down. They might say, oh, actually, we're going to shut down. And you could always have the conversation, hey, are you sure about that? Like, I don't know about you, but I usually have this problem, this problem, this problem. Do you have the same? And they'll be like, well, yeah, but that's the way it is. And you'd be like, well, do you have any projects we could work on over that time? You could get the jump on the new year, bring some cash in, and we could all have a better January or whatever month it is in the break that you're taking. But the point is like, they will probably be on board with that idea as well. You'd be surprised. But have the conversation. Don't just take no if they say that they're going to shut down. Bring it up, because you might find there is stuff that they could get done, and they'd actually be quite happy for it. So open that door.
And it flows into your marketing. You really want to get savvy with your marketing, because you'll become aware that some jobs are better to do when other businesses are shut down. And so you'll actually start to look at the areas of the market where you can actually generate work during this time. And so, a classic example might be schoolwork. Yeah. Or it might be clinics and stuff that are going to be shut during a holiday period, or particular businesses that are shut during a holiday period who want a fit out done.
Yeah.
And there's lots of that kind of work, and there's probably most people don't want to do it because they want to be on holiday.
Well, take schools as a classic example. Like you said, I mean, like a lot of repairs and maintenance is super disruptive to the school day, and it's actually quite hard for them to fit that in. I mean, if you're doing a bunch of plumbing repairs in a school and a whole toilet block's not working, like this is pretty catastrophic to the way that the school operates. So the thing is like if they can do stuff like that over holidays and vacations and shutdowns and things, this is actually great for them. And if you don't do that type of work already, it's like cool. So start marketing for it, September or October, to try to actually proactively fill your calendar for that time, or a couple months out from whatever shutdown you're taking. But the point is like there's lots of industries that really do want to have work done over that time, because it's the quietest time. It's convenient. Look, offices, big corporate company, and they have a shutdown over the break. It's like, cool. So again, repairs, maintenance, upgrades, fit outs is all stuff that they want to do when no one's in the office, or otherwise it disrupts productivity. So again, getting proactive with your marketing and trying to fill the calendar with that type of stuff, prior to the shutdown, you'd be surprised how much of it there is out there. And the thing is, no one else is going for it.
Yeah, those people find it hard to get service providers to do that work.
Yeah,
and
because everybody else is shutting down.
They're shutting down, or the 3 people who do it are all booked up anyway. As well. And with your marketing, like you maybe have your Google ads running that period of time, and say that you're open for work during that holiday period, that vacation period, because you'll actually secure clients during that period that other people will miss out on. You'll be able to take clients from other service providers because you'll do a great job. You'll be Johnny on the spot, and it's a great way to actually pick up new clients for the long term.
Potentially even at a better margin, because if you're the only person available to do a job and it's an urgent job, then it's like, well, hey, look, you could also have like extra fees or whatever that you charge for those high demand periods, if you wanted to. But there's also a lot of work that people want to get done for the holidays, for the vacation. So it's the type of thing where, I don't know, let's say I want to have a patio outside my house, or I want a new deck or something like that so I can entertain my friends over Christmas or over summer. I need that done then. And so, again, being available for that type of stuff's great. Or if I've got everybody, all my family coming for Christmas, and I end up with a blocked toilet or something like this is a problem. We got 20 people in my house. We got 2 toilets. One of them's blocked. We got
a problem
issues.
in your house.
There's a problem.
If you
in my
can't
house.
get to the toilet.
Yeah, that's right. So I think the thing is again, if I need to get a plumber out, I want them to come now, and everybody else is shut. So the thing is, you've got a really good opportunity to cash in on that type of work. And I think that's the thing is a lot of businesses, they actually don't stop over that time, and households don't stop ever. So it's really, really important to be available, and there's nobody else available, so limited competition, you pick it up.
And I know if you're thinking about this, if you've got a business, maybe you've got a team, small team or a medium-sized team, you're like, oh, yeah, I think we could kind of do this, but it'll probably need me a little bit. Or what happens if the guys think that I'm skiving off, I'm on holiday and they're not? Maybe, probably in your head as much as anything, but you can show your face a little bit as well. Like, we've got one particular client I can think of who comes in for an afternoon or a morning at the start of the week, and they think he's working all week.
Yeah.
Or even if you just need to check in a little bit, you can still do that remotely and just see what's happening. But it goes to the point is, if you can't get away, you do need to build up your 2 ICs and your management team and actually create a real business. And so that's the big part of it. And it's kind of like a stress test for your business. If it can keep running over that period of time, you probably have a proper business. And if you can't, then it's about building those things, getting the key people in place, getting the structure in place, growing the team so it's at a point where it can support that, because that's what business is about.
Yeah.
It's about creating time, money, and freedom, and you need to be able to take breaks and keep the business running and have those 3 things: time, money, and freedom. If you have to have a shut to get the time and the freedom, then you haven't got the money.
Yeah.
That ain't a business.
Yeah. And the big thing with this is people want time, money, and freedom. The real thing you want is freedom, which is actually a combination of money and time.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have both, you don't have freedom. Like if you got money, no time, that's not freedom because you can't spend the money. If you got time but no money, you don't have freedom because you got time but you can't do anything with it. So one way or another, like you need both, and you can't have both unless you've got all this stuff working. So it's really just that simple.
Yeah. And I think that the weird thing to bring it all together is that if you can have more regular breaks throughout the year and your business is better and you can get away from the business for a week here and there throughout the year, then you have less need for 3 or 4 weeks off in a row anyhow, because you're not so exhausted.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a double problem, and you can solve both those problems with one thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got some good points here, man. Should we land this plane?
Let's do it. Whilst having a holiday shutdown can seem like a good idea, there are serious consequences that often take months to fix. It's better to keep operating in a proactive way and create a business that has a great team that allows you and the rest of your team to take vacations and holidays on your terms. Thanks heaps for listening. We'll catch you all again next time.
See you later.
If you're serious about taking your service business to the next level, be sure to check out our show notes for a copy of our free book, The Profitable Tradie, and other valuable resources to help you on your journey. And don't forget to hit the follow button and stay up to date with our latest episodes. That's all for today, folks. We hope you found this episode of the Profitable Tradie podcast helpful and informative. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.